Great. Okay, so this evening, make sure you got all your props nearby. We're going to use a block straight away. I'll give you a bit of chat first before we do that. Can you start in a seat? Maybe sitting on something actually is going to feel good this evening. Keeping your pelvis nice and high, allowing your hips to have a bit of space. Good, and then just take a wee moment, resting with your palms facing upwards, back of the hands are on the legs or maybe in your lap. Close your eyes, relax your jaw. Allow your breath to start circulating around the body. Okay. Continue to do all the things you do to settle when you start class, so allowing the body to get heavy, allowing the breath to soften and lengthen at the same time. I'm just going to read you a little bit about what we're exploring through meditation and movement in tonight's class. The wonderful Donna Farry has given me these words. So the yama that we're exploring this evening is a parigraha, which loosely means non-grasping. And she speaks about how the resistance to change and its demands, tenaciously holding on to things, causes great suffering and prevents us from growing and living life in a more vital and pleasurable way. And what yoga philosophy and all the great Buddhist teachings tells us is that solidarity is a creation of the ordinary mind, and that there never was anything permanent to begin with that we could hold on to. Life would be much easier and substantially less painful if we lived with the knowledge of impermanence as the only constant. As we all have discovered at some time in our lives, whenever we've tried to hold on too tightly to anything, whether it be possessiveness of our partner or our youthful identity, this has only led to the destruction of those very things we most value. So our best security lies in taking down our fences and barricades and allowing ourselves to grow, and through that growth, becoming stronger and yet more resilient. The practice of a parigraha also requires that we look at the way we use things to reinforce our sense of identity. The executive ego loves to believe in its own power, but unfortunately requires a retinue of foot soldiers in the way of external objects, such as the right car, clothes, house, job, or image to maintain this illusion. Because this executive ego is but an illusion created by our sense of separateness, it requires even greater and more elaborate strategies to keep it clothed. Although the practice of non-grasping may first begin as consciously withdrawing our hands from reaching for external things, eventually the need to reach outward at all diminishes until there's a recognition that that which is essential to us is already at hand. I'll send you a wee link to that at the end of class. Beautiful words by Donna Farry. And that's essentially what we're going to think about this evening through class, this idea of letting go and knowing that change is our only constant. When you're ready, I want you to reach towards your block. You can keep your eyes closed if you have them closed. Don't worry if you have to open them. And then continuing to sit in a really nice tall seat, place the block on top of your head. If you've got your hair up, you might need to shift that. My head's slightly cut off by the camera here, which makes it look pretty funny. And then once you're ready, close your eyes and try and just keep this block as it is. For some, this might be really challenging, especially if you maybe have a desk job and you're kind of hunched over a lot through the day. So already you're bringing a lot of extension into the spine that you're not used to. For others, this might feel a little easier. But for all, you'll notice that once you find that sense of stillness, with the block on your head not falling off, it's not really stillness. Every time you breathe, there's a gentle rocking. You might even notice your pulse almost beating the block from below, giving it its own rhythm. And in all these little tiny micro movements that the block is making in response to our body is also subtly making micro movements to manage the balance. Little movements that you're not necessarily conscious of. And within all of this change and all these movements, we are finding stillness, finding stability. As you breathe, try and push the block away up towards the sky, still keeping it steady on your head. Notice if you've clenched your teeth or you're grabbing your hands, fingers are at fists, or if your hips are tighter. Try and release. Release tension around the belly, around the buttocks. Release tension in your knees. Enjoy the subtle rocking of the block on your head. Take another 5 strong breaths here. Maybe challenge yourself to get bigger with the breath. Taking a larger volume of air into the lungs. Expelling the air with a little more force and control. Okay. Take both of your hands to either side of the block, steadying it. And then as if you're taking a crown off that's really precious, lift it right up to the sky, breathe in as you do so. And as you exhale, reach out in front of you, push the block away from you, draw your shoulders backwards and curve into the spine. As you inhale, lift the block up, create a little back bend maybe. Exhale, push forwards. Think of these movements like subtle cat-cows. 2 more like this. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, push forwards. 1 more. Release the block to the side. Sit up nice and tall. Take any movement with your head that you need to, especially if you've got one of those cork blocks and they're really heavy. And let's start to work a little bit into our shoulders, subtle movements. And clasp your hands back behind your body. Push the chest open. take that clasp round to the right-hand side of the body, maybe hooking it to a hip or to the back of the butt cheek on the right-hand side. Draw your elbows together, lean your right ear to your right shoulder, and enjoy a little flossing sensation down the left-hand side. Lightly tuck your ribs inwards so that our spine can grow tall again. And then just send your gaze down towards the right shoulder. See how that feels in your neck. Bring your gaze back to the front, extend your hands back behind you, still clasping them together, create your V-back bend, and then take your fists round to the left-hand side, drawing the elbows together, knit the ribs in, lean your head to the left-hand side. One side is always going to feel stronger than the other. Maybe take a little peek down towards your left shoulder. Come back, ground through center. From here, remove your props off to the side and let's lie down on our tummies. If that creates any pressure on your pelvis or your belly, grab a wee blanket and pop it underneath. And then come to lie all the way down. Come into Sphinx pose first of all. So elbows are stacked underneath your shoulders, hands are spread wide. Press down through the fingers, pull your chest forward. And what I'd like you to really focus on in this evening's class is how much energy we have in our bodies in these still poses. Even though we're static, we're not lazy. Our breath is moving through the body, our blood is pumping. Walk your left hand away from you, lift up through the left elbow and thread your right arm underneath your left armpit. And you can either keep the left hand extended here, or you can reach your left arm across the right hand side. So we've done this a few times, but I'll show you. Like that. And then from here, if you want to, you can turn your palms so they're facing the sky, but if it's more comfortable to have the palms facing downwards, you can keep them like that. Allow your forehead to get heavy. If it's comfortable, rest your chin on your arms. You can always take a block beneath the head for support. If you've eaten dinner recently and this is very uncomfortable, you can come out early. Otherwise, we're going to stay here for about a minute. Just try and sink into the shape. If you're enjoying the sensation and you'd like to explore some more intense sensations and your arms are crisscrossed, you can bend into the elbows and you can try and find your hands behind your neck. So you can take a little loose bind here. begin to unravel your arms. And take your hands either underneath your forehead or extend your arms back behind you with your palms facing upwards, turning your cheek to the side. When you're ready, press yourself back up into this Sphinx shape. Elbows are underneath your shoulders. Hands are extended forward. Gently tug the chest forward so that you get that yummy back bend sensation. And then extend your right hand outwards, lifting that right elbow. Thread your left arm underneath the right armpit. Stay like this, or walk the right hand over to the left hand side so you've crisscrossed the arms. Maybe resting your forehead on a block or just letting it hang with your chin resting on the arms. Your palms can face down or upwards. I would say if you're finding this quite intense, which we probably all are, it's a loud shape, then turning the palms to face upwards is a slightly softer version. Obviously goes without saying, if you've got historic shoulder injuries, maybe avoid this one and stick to Sphinx or take a softer version of it. If you're wanting to take that wee bind, you can do that with the last few breaths. Reaching your fingers around the back of the neck. And unravel, coming to lie with the other cheek on the ground, arms or hands back behind you or underneath your forehead. Really make sure that you're getting heavy through the front of the shoulders here so that we can create space in the back body and allow the shoulders to reset. From here, press yourself up into tabletop. Just take a wee moment in tabletop, maybe pushing through a couple of cat-cows, just allowing your spine to reset itself. And from here, take a little seat on your heels and curtsy over to one side, taking your right foot to the inside of your left thigh, left foot back behind you. If that doesn't feel good, keep your left foot out in front of you. Take a twist round towards the right hand side, bringing your left hand towards your right knee and right hand back behind you. Your shoulders might be feeling a little tense after those shapes that we just took. They might feel like they need to take control again. So if you notice that you're lifting the left shoulder up, soften it. Think about your chest getting heavy. Imagine you've got paperweights on your shoulders. Enjoy the same twist over to the left, just a wee counter twist, pressing your fingers down to the left hand side. Then come back up, and this time we're gonna twist all the way around and come to a kind of twisted forward fold. I like to do this with my bolster. If you've got your bolster handy, place your bolster to the right of your body. And then really twist all the way around, allowing the left hip to lift and enjoying a bit of an internal rotation in the left hip. Still quite open though. Start to feel the twist reaching down the right side of the torso, and then bring your hands or maybe your forearms down towards the bolster. You might find that you're able to come a little lower, or this might be your limit. If that left hip is feeling too stretched, you can extend the left leg here, or you can even bring the left leg all the way up and snuggle it towards the right knee. I often talk about how much is going on in this pose. So if you've heard me say this before, I'm not going to apologize, because it's always good to hammer home. Some shapes feel a little overwhelming, and this one is definitely one of those for me. And if you think about everything that your body is doing right now, it's no wonder it feels overwhelming. We're twisting in our spine. We are internally and externally rotating the hips, as well as moving them in other directions, flexing and extending. There's an awful lot going on. So instead of dwelling on all of the variability in this shape, try and find something consistent, like your breath. As your body begins to accept the asana, the pose, allow it to get heavier. Maybe resting your hands underneath your head now, maybe bringing the forehead to the bolster. Another nice option is to draw the bolster a little closer so that it can support your chest as you lower down, bringing the forearms to the ground. Slowly start to bring yourself back up to a seat. Take your hands back behind you, unfold your legs, taking your feet to the floor. Allow your knees to wave from side to side. We'll come back to that shape in a wee moment and explore something else first. Extend your legs out in front of you. You can take the bolster underneath you, or you can push your feet against the bolster if you want. Taking your feet just about hip width, or maybe even closer together than that. As you inhale, reach your arms up to the sky. Feel how heavy your arms are feeling. As you exhale, lean forwards, coming into Paschimottanasana, forward fold. Allow yourself to curve through the spine here. So we're allowing ourselves to be a little naughty in that respect. Never naughty. And in doing so, feel that strong sensation in the sciatic nerve, perhaps. Running all the way up the back of the leg, and maybe up to the bum, even to the lower back. Curve in on yourself, get low. Deep flexion in your spine and your hips. If you've got the space to do so, maybe wrap your arms underneath your knees. Give yourself a cuddle. Gently start to bring yourself back up to tall sleep. Take your time. Breathe. And then bend your left knee, bring your left foot to the inside of the right thigh. Bend your right knee, taking your right foot back behind you. Sit up nice and tall. Take your right hand to your left knee, left hand back behind you. Twist. Try and keep your right sit bone grounded if you can for this one. Good adjustments. And then take a twist. We counter twist to the right hand side. And then come back up through center. Take your bolster over to the left side of the body and twist around yourself again towards the left. But this time, remember, we're allowing the right hip to lift and start to turn inwards on itself. So it's almost mimicking a sort of pigeon shape. Twist all the way around to the left-hand side. Feel that really strong stretch, the left torso. And when you're ready, bring yourself a little lower. Start to feel the tug on the right side of the body as well. If you're feeling really warm already and you'd like to go lower, pull that bolster a bit closer towards the left thigh. Lower your belly, your chest down towards the bolster and bring your forearms towards the ground. Remember, you can always create more space with the right leg by extending it or pulling it up towards the left knee. Start to push yourself up again. Take your time. Take your feet to the floor. Move your knees from side to side. Windshield wiper legs. When you come to stillness, this time take your feet wide. Nice wide V shape, as wide as feels comfortable. Bring your bolster into the middle of the legs, either horizontally or vertically on your mat, depending on what you want to do with this. You can explore. Face this way actually. So if you're having your bolster horizontally on the mat, you're going to take your hands to it and just rock yourself forward, climb your hands around the bolster and come to rest with your elbows down on the bolster. The other option, if you have it in between the legs like this, is you take it right up to your pubis so that you can feel it on your belly. Maybe your belly's resting on it, and then you're going to allow yourself to fold forward on it. It is such a comforting sensation. And if you're finding the hips are a little bit tight, such an explicit viewpoint for you all. If you're finding the hips are feeling a bit tight, set yourself up with a wee ramp underneath it and place the bolster on top like that. So you've got a wee ramp and then you can fold forward like that. What I'm wanting you to feel is support whilst getting this wide-legged sensation. Nice open hips. If you've gone for the ramp situation, you might find that you're able to snuggle up and even like hold onto the sides of the block or wrap your arms underneath the bolster to give it a wee cuddle. Do what feels good. Again, rounding and into the spine is fine for this. Excuse me. Rounding into the spine is fine for this. We're wanting to feel that sensation on the inside of the leg and through the hips. We want your spine to feel supported. Let's take another 5 breaths here. If your legs are really fatiguing, maybe take a bend into the knees. If you know that you can find more space, maybe allow the body to get heavier. Slowly, slowly start to bring yourself out. Really take your time with this because your legs are going to be knackered. Roll your spine up. Gently pull the legs in, maybe cross them or hug the knees in, whichever position comes naturally to you. We're going to set up for our final shape that's going to just float into Shavasana. As always, if it's not comfortable for you, you can change your positioning. We're going to set a ramp up for our bolster. Take one block, lay it on its middle setting. So this is slightly different to what we usually do. It's a bit higher on its middle setting at the back of your mat horizontally. Then take your other block and lay it against it like that. If you've got very soft blocks, this might not be stable. So you might need to put the top block on its lower setting. Hope that makes sense. If you've not got blocks, just use your bolster for this. You don't need to create a ramp. And then take your bolster, place it on top. You want to squidge down the bottom part of the bolster. Sandy, you've got a very sturdy bolster. I realise this might be hard for you. If you've got a new bolster, it's not going to be as squidgy as mine. Very well worn. Squidge down as much as you can so that you've got an extra bit of pillow for your head at the top. I'll just push my bolster over. If you want, you can also grab a pillow for the top. This is going to be our bed for the next wee while. When you're ready, let's lie down. Bring your bum right to the edge of the bolster, maybe even sitting on it a touch. Just check by pressing back into the bolster that it's secure. It's not going to fall because I don't need to get halfway through Shavasana and fall. It's the last thing you want. And then slowly start to allow yourself to fall back. Make sure you've got all your goodies, your blankets and lights are off and whatnot. And allow your hands to rest out wide for the first wee bit. So in a T shape, palms facing upwards. Take your feet nice and wide and knock your knees into the middle for constructive rest. Try not to let your head kind of fling back over the back of the bolster. You still want some support underneath your head. And for the next few breaths, you can figure out what you'd like from this shape. Are you wanting to feel neutral in your body? So are you wanting the knees to knock in like this, kind of undoing all of the external rotation we've done? Or are you wanting to take the feet to touch and explore that openness in the hips that we've played with? Are you wanting your hands to hold onto your body? Or are you wanting them by the side? Do you want your legs extended so that you feel long, hands back behind you? Allow you to play around with this shape to find the most comfortable version for you. And if you hate being given loads of options, then I would suggest lying with your legs extended, hands by the sides of the body. Once you're feeling settled, we'll start enjoying some pranayama, golden thread breath. We'll inhale through the nose and allow the breath to escape through the lips. When you're ready, start breathing in for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale through the lips as long as you like. Continue this cycle, breathing in for 5 through the nose and exhaling softly through the lips. No time pressure with your exhale, just as long as it takes for you to get rid of all of your breath. You can continue breathing this way, or you can allow yourself to sink into that semi-sleepy state, your Shavasana. Begin deepening your breath. Breathe a bit of movement back into your fingers and toes. Take your feet to the ground. Nice big bend in the knees. If your arms are back behind you, bring your hands onto your body. And very slowly and gently make your way to a seat. Keeping your eyes closed, bring all of your attention to your breath. Enjoy the sound of your breath as it enters and leaves your body. And enjoy the ripples of movement through your body as you breathe. Bring your hands to a gesture that feels appropriate for you. Maybe hands at your heart or held together in your lap. Thank yourself for your efforts, for moving and breathing, being present just for yourself. Let's finish with one long, deep sigh together. Breathe in through your nose and exhale. Thank you, everyone. Well done. Good job. I'll see you all very soon. Lots of love. Mwah.